Congrats on the deal. I'm curious what your personal reaction was to getting the reward for last season, and then when you reflect back on last year, just kind of what you take away from being able to find that comfort zone for a very long stretch of time.
Mm-hmm. First of all, thank you. I was telling my agent all along the process, I'm rooting for this thing to work out. That's where my heart is to remain with those guys. I think first and foremost, I want to thank the McCaskey and Ryan Pace for their vote of confidence in me. I always felt like, within my family and, my agent, I always talked about Chicago as a chapter, an unfinished chapter back in 2017 for me. It's because I saw the people that were in that organization from top to bottom and the care that they took from me when I went through the injury and surgery. And I just wanted to give back in any way. Unfortunately, I wasn't part of the team anymore until this year. And what I put in the field is with those people in mind. Just it's a form of me to say thank you for everything they did. So, and working with Tabor and Pat O'Donnell, Pat Scales, I think I would take that over anything. In this league, I think they were a group of guys that, coming in as late in the process as I came in last year in the middle of training camp with 2 weeks left before the first game, and to settle in so synchronized with those guys was a key to the success. So throughout the process, I was just hoping that this would work out, and it means a lot that we're going in with the same, the band is back together, the same group of guys. And I feel like we're already, so far ahead of the process. We're not going to miss a beat going to next year. So very much looking forward to progressing with the team and special teams.
Lane Kane.
Hey, Cairo, I think you've talked in the past about the difficulties of having to bounce from a bunch of different teams in the previous years. What does it mean to you to kind of have the stability of a longer term contract here?
Yeah, that's what I've been working for the last 3 years or so. Coming back and settling in the league again as the veteran that I was when I left Kansas City. And it was hard, between injuries and changing of coaching staffs and the teams that I was with, and not finding that perfect timing to be the guy. And I had the opportunity to become the starter there in Chicago, and it was sort of a 1 week to week thing, and I just took advantage of that to make it a long term. So yeah, to me, it's a dream come true to have a home again, something that I've been searching for the last several years. It means a lot to have that. I don't even call it stability, because you're always, as a kicker, you're always on your toes. But just to know that, to see the future more than just 1 week at a time.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Cairo, I'm wondering what you learned earlier in your career about what it takes to repeat success. As a kicker, what's it going to take for you to be able to find what you had last year and do it again?
I think it's sort of dumb maybe to think that just not think so much about it. I think it's not overanalyze every little thing that you did. I think part of my success last year was just to respect the place. I think, as I was, getting the streak and many kicks under my belt, every day that I stepped at Hallis Hall or at Soldier Field, I had to respect what Chicago is, to be a kicker and how hard that place is. So I think that helped me, just not settle in, like as far as like too much confidence and think that I won't miss because I'm kicking well. So it was more of like a feeling thing of like, step in that place and take every day as a challenge to thrive and win the day. So I think like, I'll just keep doing the same things as I did, my same routine that I've had with Coach Tabes and O'Donnell and Scales, and not change too much. So just kind of react to everything that, what I felt last year and try to do more of the same.
Steve Leventhal.
Yeah, hi again, congratulations. And two questions. One, some of it's been alluded to already, but one, what were some of the things that came into focus in this situation in Chicago that enabled you to basically make this, a permanent situation? And then the second, maybe not so serious question is, how do you like Chelsea's chances against Porto in the Champions League quarterfinals?
Yeah. So first question, I think at first it starts with the group. I think from Pace to down to Nagy, Coach Tabor. Those are the guys that are in command, and they just let us go free. I think especially Coach Taves, that he sees my potential as a kicker, and he just wants me to be exactly that, like nothing more, not be another guy. So just be my full potential, and that kind of helps me just take care of the little things and just making, kicks the way I do. And having the opportunity to go down to Soldier Field many times throughout the season before home games, I think that's a great preparation. That's not an easy place to kick, and the more you're down there gaining the knowledge, it also helped for away games when you feel a tiny breeze and you see kickers trying to play the wind too much, when I'm like, this is an indoor game compared to what I'm used to. So that allowed me to succeed away too. So and that's all I think part of, as it is a hard place to kick, but I think the challenge of kicking there and having the success that I was able to have gives me the confidence and assurance that it's going to allow me to stay focused every single day to succeed and not get comfortable, which is important, I think, for you to just stay mentally sharp. So that's kind of, I think, what was the key to the success, having the core group, and the place just demands a lot of you, and you have to just come in ready to work every day. And the second question, I was pleased with the draw, and I was hoping that would be, not disrespecting Porto, but the other teams are very tough. And I think it's always fun to have a Portuguese matchup with, I think Chelsea's had many Portuguese matchups. They're exciting. And then we'll probably face, I think, Liverpool or Real Madrid, right, in the semis. So I think it'll be a good preparation for that tough environment.
Adam Hogue.
Hey, Cairo, I'm curious, as you were going through those years where you're trying to come back from the injury and you're bouncing around a little bit, how much doubt did you have to fight off that maybe you'd get back to this situation where you get a long-term extension?
A lot. I mean, there are parts of those years that I was still playing that I just didn't feel like I was popping the ball the way I used to. It to me is more clear now that having the season I had last year, that I got back to myself, and if not even stronger. It was a reassurance that, like, really, like those years that I was playing in Tampa, just bouncing around, like I was not as strong as I was this past year, and as strong as I wanted to be. So it was tough battling and doubting if I was going to be able to get there, just because the body was not responding to how I wanted to, because of, I think, so many scar tissues and all. So at times I wonder if if you ever recover from these types of injuries, multiple injuries in the groin. And I think there's hard work and dedication and strength and everything. And I think the mental work too, to just allow your body to push to the limits to get it stronger and break up those scar tissues. It allowed me to get to this place. So a lot of it wasn't if I could still, be the accurate kicker that I once was, or the strong. It was just like, if my body was going to allow me to, that's going to be a big disappointment if I just couldn't get over that hurdle, which I did. And I feel stronger than, the injury itself, and physically and mentally as I ever was. So I think I overcame something that it was more physical than mental.
Just a quick follow-up. Where were you in that whole mindset last year when you signed with the Bears? Because you were unsigned. Did you think you were going to get an opportunity, and where was that confidence level at that time last year when you signed?
I think the biggest challenge was like, the whole COVID and NFL wasn't allowing workouts. So you just like, when is that going to come, or is it going to come this year? It was so unsure how the process was going to be for free agents. So, and I think it was scary just to like see how everything was going to work out for the veterans. If maybe more rookies were going to be called, for those kind of backup kicker roles that many teams had for COVID. So many question marks in the year that I, really just one game I had with Tennessee last year that cost me my job, was going to be maybe the last thing that teams were looking at. So I got a chance to, as soon as workouts were allowed, I got a chance to go to San Diego and do a Coach John Carney kicking combine out there. And the Bears were one of the teams that were present. And I had a great day. That was the opportunity that for all those months from I got released till that was back in, I think, July. All those months, that was a preparation that you just weren't waiting for that one opportunity. So in me, I had the faith that it was going to come, and I just had to be ready for it. I think I was in a position that I had to take advantage of the next opportunity or it would be over. So I think I'm proud of the way everything worked out and where I ended up.
Pat Finley.
Cairo, where do you live in the off season? Is it South Florida somewhere?
North Florida in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. How in the world do you replicate what you see in the winter here in the middle of the off season in Jacksonville, Florida? Can you at all?
No, and even if you could, I think it really, it's like that week of preparation is what matters most. That close to game day, I think, is what you go. When I go kick on Sunday, I'm thinking about the work I put in that week, and not so much the off season. So I think it's impossible sort of to replicate unless you've left your balls in the freezer overnight and went out and kicked it at 5 a.m. when it's like in the 60s here in Florida. But yeah, you just kind of take this time to get stronger and go out in the field and get the conditioning done. So when it's cold, you've already done the prep time to last long and in that type of environment, and trust the mechanicals that you're putting out are gonna also come out when it's 20 degrees or below.
Couple more for Cairo. Zach Pearson.
Hey, Cairo, you mentioned how difficult it is kicking at Soldier Field. Was there a specific moment, whether it was going down there for practices or a game, where you realized how tough it was? And then when did you kind of felt like you really hit your groove last year in the middle of your streak?
Yeah, I think early on in the season, I think Soldier played tougher the days that we went out there. I remember having this conversation with O'Donnell, and he's someone that I always try to listen to for advice in Soldier, for the experience that he's had. And there's a day that was playing really tough, and he just said, some days you step in here and you just have to respect the place and say, Soldier, you won today, but you're not going to win tomorrow. So you just kind of, and it's sometimes you're just kicking so well, but like the wind just kind of does its thing, and I think the grass plays tough too, and you kind of have to adjust that. But I think I started to really hit the strides after maybe the game winner against the Bucks, and going next week. I think it was the next week. Then I had my career long 55, and then the following week I had the game tying against the 51 against the Saints. So those kind of things just lift you up, to do in those types of moments. And in the point where I was at, to kind of I had to show something in my career. I think it was something that lifted me a lot. And then I just had to kind of stay locked in to keep adding up those moments.
Mark Grody.
Hey, Cairo, it it sounds like, just from listening to all the answers to your questions about kicking at Soldier Field, that you liked kicking at Soldier Field. Is that fair to say, or is that crazy?
It's crazy to say, but it's fair to say as well, because a place that I think it's so daunting to kick, and we see away teams come in and struggle. Many great kickers come in and have pre-games that they're just puzzled by some of the ball movements that they see, but just having that place to just use it as a weapon, to kind of sharpen your game. I think it played an advantage for me to not only deal with that 8 games during the year, but to go at away places and just having fun, because that wasn't a challenge. It was just the wins that I felt, it wasn't even going through my mind. It was just aim the ball down the middle and hit it the way you always hit, and then stay true. I was hitting lots of good balls down the middle, so it was fun. But it's a process that you have to just respect. And there are days that I'll be honest, I didn't kick well, but found a way to grind, and finish the day well, hitting the good sets and special teams periods. And that just comes with, you just wanting to win the day, win the environments every single time. And that becomes, almost a game within each day. You go out and you win that day, and you go. So it's kind of how there's no easy days. And I think that just I'm just going to be my B guy today, hit my B balls and just get through the day. No, I want to hit my A balls, and my worst kicks be the B balls, that sort of mentality. So it was fun. And I think it's a place that, it's going to keep me on my toes, just wanting to succeed and be a better kicker more and more.
Last one for Cairo. Dan, go ahead.
Cairo, between now and the start of training camp, I'm curious where you'll train, who you'll train with, and kind of what the procedure will be between now and July.
Yeah, I think as at least me, I haven't heard what the ruling is, if we're going to have OTAs and all that, but I think I'm kind of expecting that we won't, and just kind of, like you said, get ready for when we are back with the team is ready to go. So making plans with O'Donnell and Scales to get together. I think as veterans, we understand the importance of just taking this time just to get stronger in the weight room and conditioning, and not demand so much your body from kicking a lot of balls now. So I think the time to start is coming in the next couple of months to put ball to foot. And we're making plans to get together with those guys in the off season, and just kind of, like I said, just I think we're ahead of the process. So going back to them, we're just going to be more of getting your feet wet and ready to go, because I think I already in my mind I visualize what a Pat Scales perfect snap is, where a Pat O'Donnell hold is, and I just swing through. Making plans to get ready to go.
Those guys were both free agents also, so I imagine you celebrated a little bit when those deals came through as well.
Absolutely. I think it was a scenario that I wanted to happen, from when we left our exit meetings and stuff. We had great conversations, between us three and the coaches, and we were hoping to be back together. I think the three of us allows each one of us to succeed to our full potentials, and we help each other a lot in the way we work out and kind of push each other to grind a little hard in the weight room, to shag balls, to go kick at extra set or something, or go down a soldier with them. It's an hour there, hour back, and we go with the mentality that we're excited to go there and work with each other, and not so much of a hassle of making that trip, especially for them who they've had great success in that place. And it was more for me, I felt like, for the kicker, but they appreciate the work too. So I think it was very exciting. I think I had a tear in my eyes of just happiness having those guys together in the locker room.